Hey, what's up, everybody? CNBC article here I wanted to go through. You know, I love me the smell of finance in the morning. She got a forgivable loan. Her employees hate her for it. Oh, let's read what this is about. I skimmed this one. It's pretty interesting, and it's kind of a case of I told you so ism. I'm sure a lot of you would suspect this stuff would happen, and when we work on the honor system, sometimes this happens. Jamie Black Lewis felt like she'd won the lottery after getting 2 forgivable loans through the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP. Lewis Black saw the $177,000 and $43,800 loans, one for each of the spas she owns in Washington state, as a lifeline she could use for payroll and other business expenses. She halted pay for the 35 employees, including herself, at Oasis Med Spa and Salon in Woodinville and a My Day Spa in Bothell in mid-March, when non-essential businesses in Washington closed due to the pandemic. When Black Lewis convened a virtual employee meeting to explain her good fortune, she expected jubilation and relief that paychecks would resume in full, even though the staff, primarily hourly employees, couldn't work. She got a different reaction. It was a firestorm of hatred about the situation, Black Lewis said. The animosity is an unintended consequence of the $2.2 trillion relief package enacted last month. The law, the CARES Act, afforded $349 billion in loans for small businesses, resulting as a struggle of the COVID-19. Banks backstopped by the federal government can fully forgive the loans, given certain conditions. Among them, the bulk of the funds must go towards payroll, salaries must remain intact, and employee headcount must not decrease. Businesses have until June 30th to rehire laid off or furloughed workers. Black Lewis was trying to meet these rules, especially after her bank reiterated she must continue to pay workers for loan forgiveness. The anger came from employees who determined they'd make more money by collecting unemployment benefits than their normal paychecks. It's a windfall they see coming, Black Lewis said of unemployment. In their mind, I took it away. I couldn't believe it, she added. On what planet am I competing with unemployment? Black Lewis is surely not the only entrepreneur to struggle with such dynamics. Roughly 22 million Americans filed for unemployment in the 4 weeks ended April 11th. Lawmakers are poised to infuse an additional $320 billion into the PPP, which exhausted its initial funding this week, and they have since done that. The CV relief law increased weekly jobless benefits for recipients, boosted the duration of benefits, and extended pay to previously ineligible groups of workers like the self-employed. Specifically, the new law adds a flat $600 a week to the typical weekly benefits paid by one state. Those traditional benefits, which vary widely between states, replaced about 40% of one's prior wages, according to a national average cited by the House Ways and Means Committee. All right, we'll just leave it there. This article has a little bit more. Pause it a little bit if you want to read a little bit more, or you'd rather read it than listen to me. We scroll down here a little bit so you can get a little more. Initially, I was against the $600 automatic being added on top, but I went back and forth on this in many ways because even though we want to feel like individuals will not take advantage of the situation, unfortunately, we don't live in a society where that's always the case. If you're somebody out there who's like this and you see the opportunity to make more money staying at home, and you rationalize it by saying, oh, I deserve it, I've worked hard all of these years, who cares, I don't know where the money comes from, I don't see it. Hey, do what you got to do, I guess. But like I said, oftentimes when it comes to things like this, we work on the honor system. And my feeling and my hope is that 85% of people, if given the opportunity, would rather go back to work. Maybe that number is lower. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. Maybe it's 50%. Maybe it's 40 or 30, where you could make roughly the same at work as you could at being home during this time. But let's keep in mind it's only temporary. It's only until the end of July where they would see that extra $600 a month. If I'm correct on that, I believe it's July. where they would see the $600 a week. Excuse me, I said month, where they'd see the extra $600 a week. Why I went back and forth on it was just because of this. It hit me that a lot of the jobs that individuals are working, they're not going to come back, especially small businesses or things like this. Like, what if this woman wasn't able to get this loan? Chances are her spa business could be shut down for good, right? I don't know what her financial situation's like, but the spa business is going to be tough, I think, in terms of people wanting to kind of slowly get back into it. I would think that people would be a little hesitant to get back into it, but who knows? Months and months of time off, a lot of built up tension, and, I guess you've got to make that run out to the Thai massage place to relieve some of that pent up stress from the months that you've been locked down. Places like this, I don't know. I would just think for myself, I'd be a little bit more hesitant in ways to kind of go out to these types of businesses when I don't necessarily need to. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm going out somewhere just to go out somewhere and spend money. I'm fine with waiting it out. I'm fine with letting other individuals go out there first. Now, I will say this though. I was driving around where I live today. I had to go to the grocery store, and there's a yogurt place in the same plaza as a Vons, and it was open. I hadn't seen it open before, so it must have just opened. And there was a queue. There was 6 or so groups of people. Most of them were, two people, a husband, a wife, boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, but they were doing the social distancing thing and the line was out the door. But like I said, 6 groups of individuals. So that was opening back up. And there was, the beach down here was crazy crowded because it's one of the few that's open. Orange County's beaches seem to be open, whereas LA County, their beaches aren't open. So all of their individuals are flooding here, and individuals from inland cities are coming out here as well. Now, that may be good for the city. We'll see if it jumps off as a new hotspot several weeks from now. But several other restaurants were open for takeout. And I saw individuals in large groups, 4, 5, 6 people, not wearing any masks. At the Vons, they were saying you have to be wearing a protective face mask to go ahead and enter the establishment. And half the people weren't. Nobody was enforcing it. The security guard was just kind of looking like, but you know how they are. I mean, for the most part, right there, not there to do anything. Getting back to this, it all ties back into the honor system, right? If we're not telling people they have to lock down anymore, and I'll tie it back to this article shortly, go out, but, that's up for you to determine if you want to put yourself and others at risk. Be the risk minimal or great. I tend to think it's more on the minimal side, but if you're an individual who now they're starting to allow you liberties, all I would say is just don't blow it for everybody else. Don't be out there behaving dumb, and do what you need to do to keep yourself safe and your family. Now, tying it back to this, pretty discouraging. I don't know the number. She said she had 35 employees, so we don't know if all of them were acting like this way, but it's kind of disheartening. It would be to me as a business owner, because I would know that once they get back in the door and once they start working again, there's going to be some animosity. And how do you repair that? How do you repair that bridge with your employees where they felt entitled to something because it's Washington State, and we know how Washington State is on the political scale. So how do you repair that bridge? How does she and other individuals who are getting these loans repair that bridge with employees when employees see it as entitlement, in this kind of entitlement society we live in where mommy and daddy government puts the teat out for us to suckle on? And unfortunately for her, I think a lot of those relationships are probably going to be beyond repair, to where you're going to get an inferior work product, you're going to get animosity back from the employee, and maybe once that business starts picking up or her spas start picking up again, workers are talking smack about the boss behind her back, right? Because I would assume a lot of them are receptionists and therapists and stuff like that. The receptionists, or I should say more so the therapists, are going to be there, going to be giving their massages or doing whatever they do, and they're going to be, the conversation will come up. Oh, why are you at work? Oh, I read about you on CNBC. And then, oh, fuck my boss. We're going to hate my boss. I shouldn't even be here. But don't forget my big tip. So anyway, that's just some thoughts I had. It's kind of discouraging, but again, I always want to keep it in perspective. I hope that most people are like individuals we see out there protesting the lockdown, where they want to get back out and they want to get back to work. I want to hope that most people in the United States are that way rather than like her employees, but I don't know. Let me know how you feel about it. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Take care.